Black Friday is live right now, 25% off all of our handmade leather goods that we make right here in the shop, so check them out below. Another one of my favorite kind of unboxings, stuff that I help design and make. And this is a fun one because, as you guys have probably heard me talk about tons of times, like the collaborations are fun for me because we get to experiment with new things, try to do things differently, play with concepts and see if they work. And this is a very I don't think anyone's ever done this before, and I don't think that anyone really knows how it's gonna look, how it's gonna feel, how it's all gonna perform. And so this is a little bit more on the experimental side. Like, I have full confidence in it because of the things we'll go over. But it's part of the fun. It's like, we're only doing a small number of these. There's only gonna be 300 of these available. They launch on December 5th. And if you're watching this, if you're not on the limited edition email list, get on that because they're gonna get early access. And they shouldn't sell out before the public launch, but they might because there's only 300 available. And if you don't know who KOIO is, the first time we reviewed one of their sneakers was during the White Sneaker series, where we cut apart the common projects. Were like $600, and everyone's like, "These are the best sneakers in the world, especially the best white sneakers. It's the only ones you should get." And so we cut them apart, not knowing really anything about it. And I was like, "Well, these are not $600 worth. You know, there's nothing in here that justifies this price." And the whole internet, the specific portion of the internet that was fanboys for common projects flipped out. They're like, "Who is this guy? I don't know what he's talking about." And they were partially right because it was so early in the YouTube channel, I didn't fully know what I was talking about. But I was like, I think this is right. Like, I can't imagine this costs that much money to make. And it was like trending on Reddit. Like, people were hitting me up. My boy Tyler was like, "Bro, I just saw you on Reddit." And I was like, "Whoops." You know, so we got a lot of that, like, I wouldn't say hate, a lot of feedback. And anytime you receive feedback, you have a couple choices. You either double down, like, "No, I'm right for sure. I don't care what anyone else says." Or you re-look at your opinion and try to figure out what's right, what's wrong, and where that truth really lies. And so when it came to that, I was like, well, we'll just cut apart every other white sneaker and we'll see what's what. And so we cut apart KOIOs, the Common Projects, the Crown Northamptons, the Gorals, the Ariats, the Italics, the Archibald London, like all the top white sneakers, and Common Projects were like in the bottom third in quality. And they were like 2 to 3 times the price. But after that series, we pretty well identified that KOIO is one of the highest value per dollar spent white sneakers you can buy. And over the last couple years, because we've done some other KOIO videos and stuff, but I think maybe last year in 2013, Johannes and I, the owner of KOIO, we were just like, "Oh, let's do a collaboration. Like, this would be fun. Is there anything we can do?" We started playing with this concept of like a dress boot with a really luggy sole. It's like a really dressy boot, but like has some aggressiveness to it. And it just didn't end up we didn't find like a cool way to position. We didn't find a new way in the market that hasn't been done. And so that's when we sat down like, okay, what do we do? Like, is there anything we can do? Like, let's keep brainstorming some ideas. And so we just like thought on it for a few months and a few calls back and forth. And eventually we got on a call about the white sneakers. Like, what would it look like? What is the perfect white sneaker? Because after that series of judging all those sneakers, I was like, "Hey, do you want me to make the perfect white sneaker?" And everyone's like, "Yes, where's your white sneaker?" And like 4 years later, we still get requests, "Where's your perfect white sneaker?" And the reason we didn't do it was there's basically 2 or 3 brands out there already making arguably perfect white sneakers. Like Crown Northampton and Goral both make outstanding white sneakers because they combine that boot style construction with the sneaker construction. It's more, maybe not boot, maybe it's more like dress shoe construction combining with a sneaker construction, because a lot of these white sneakers are treated like dress sneakers. And so that's the path I wanted to go. I was like, "Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I want to make like a boot quality, like dress sneaker. That'd be so cool." And people already did it. And there's no, I just don't like reinventing the wheel. It's just, you can never fully reinvent the wheel, but when there's people already doing it at a high level and you can't improve on it, it's like, what's the purpose? Where's the fun? Why do it if there's no unique angle to it? And so we were just talking about that, discussing it, and eventually we're just like, all right, well, what other pathways could we take to make the perfect white sneaker? And that's when we're like, oh, because it is technically these really, really nice sneakers. They're almost more like dress shoes. They're built like a dress shoe. They have like the board lasted where it gets a little more rigid, and it really is a hybrid of those two things. But it's not really a true sneaker. It's like, what does a true sneaker look like? And using that term true, we mean it, or I mean it by like, what is the truest form of sneakers? Like what is like a sneaker construction? Well, it's strobel stitching. Like if you look at any 9 times out of 10, probably almost 10 times out of 10, your sneakers are strobel stitched. And that is where the upper stops at the strobel board or the lasting board, and instead of it being wrapped under and creating more bulk and more rigidity, which can be good and bad, it's just sewn together all the way around the perimeter. So what that does is it gives you really light, really flexible, and a really like just comfortable sneaker, because you don't, there's not a lot of like that bulk that you have to bend that starts to make it feel like a dress shoe or a boot. And so we're like, well, what if we went that path? Like these perfect white sneakers went more towards the dress shoes. What if instead of us taking that turn to dress shoes, what if we just doubled back down on the true, in quotations, sneaker construction? And we're like, okay, what does that look like? What can we do with the strobel board? And immediately both of us are like, leather lasting board for a strobel sneaker. You know, and I was like, has anyone done that? And Johannes was like, I don't think anyone has. And I was like, well, let's play with it. Let's see if anyone has done it. And we have yet to find a single person or a single brand that has done a true strobel stitch construction with a vegetable tan strobel board. And that strobel board is right underneath the insole. And so that's where you get all it's like basically the foundation of the shoe. It's what allows you to resole it. It's what allows you, well, for the leather aspect, it's what compresses the shape of your foot, giving you that custom footprint. And so that's what we decided to go towards. We're like, okay, that's a cool concept. I like that. Like, but what else can we do? Like, where else can we take it? And that's when we went shopping at, like, well, Johannes did, like all the best Italian tanneries. He sent me tons and tons of samples, and we were just like choosing these white leathers to try to find the perfect white sneaker for a true sneaker construction. And we did it. We like found, and it's like, so what this shoe is like the tagline that has been our like North Star, you know, our point on the horizon we're working towards, is the first true, in quotations, like the strobel stitch is like the first true full leather sneaker. Because, you know, every other leather sneaker out there, that strobel board is a fabric, but also your counters and some of your internal components, they're not all leather. And so instead of taking that right turn towards a dress shoe, we took the left turn towards maximizing the value, the performance, the quality materials as much as humanly possible through the lens of keeping it as a true sneaker. And that was the angle that both of us were like, that's it. That's a cool angle. We can do that. And that's what this is. And I probably should have done that I probably should have unboxed it first, but I wanted to kind of get the story out. So these are the final samples. What am I cutting with? The Kershaw Blade HQ exclusive. I just have this on my desk. I do a lot of unboxings with this just because I love it. I use it all the time. Oh, I was like listening to a Kickstarter actually right before I was sitting here. So check out, if you're interested in leatherworking, this is a pretty cool little product. Like, I'm not getting paid for this or anything. It's a little burnishing tool that you can use, because burnishing leather's so tough. You have to like hold the material and try not to get it to bend. This is like a burnisher that you put on the table. You put your leather on the table and you can burnish it on a flat plane. I just was watching this literally on the toilet before I started recording, and I thought it was pretty cool. You guys might find it interesting. So I'll put links to this below if you're interested. I'll put links to this below. So now, let's do it. The final prototypes. And the fun thing with this is, at least I think it's fun, is it's never been done. It hasn't been worn for years and years and years to test the actual concept. And so that's why we're not doing as many in quantity, because it's kind of an experiment. We're just like, why has nobody done this? Like, this feels like somebody should have done this. And yet, nobody's yet to like prove us wrong that we weren't the first. So if you do know one, please let me know before we launch. We're like, it's the first, and everyone's like, no, it's not. So if there is a one out there already, well, let me know. Okay, what do we have? 1, 2, 4. Ooh. Yes. This is another reason why collaborations are really fun, because you get to work so intimately with the brands and the factories that they'll literally send you the whole like deconstructed shoe. That's so nice. But even just from this, you can see how much leather's in there. The only synthetics I can see from just from this bag is just the foam around the collar. So, the first true full leather sneaker. Yeah, let's do it. Ooh. You're gonna say, look, oh, I've never seen this before. Look at that. I'm trying to get it to focus on the inside. There it goes. Oh, that is so cool. The KOIO X Rose Anvil stamp on the inside. What? That's the first time I've seen this. So these are a men's 10. Look at that. And this leather, this is as good of a white leather as we could find. Because white leather is so tough because you basically have to put some pigment on top because the core of any chrome tan leather is blue. And which is good for white leather because if you add blue to anytime you're trying to get white, if you've ever done any painting, you add a little blue to it and it really whitens it up. And so it works perfect for white leather. But if you didn't put a top coat of any kind of pigment on top, it'd be blue. And so we tried to find a leather that had a really, really tight fiber structure that had as minimal of a pigment on top that looked as natural as possible. No super shiny things, no like super fake grain, just as pure and perfect of a white leather as we could find. And this is it. This is the best, the absolute best we could find in all of Italy. And then we even went as far as with like the lining leather. The lining leather it's like the price of most sneaker, even like high-end sneakers. Like this lining leather is nicer than most other sneakers outer leather because it's pricey. And like, because that was a question we were playing with. It's like, do we try to keep it more affordable, or do we go all out and just try to maximize everything leather, best leather we can find? And that's what we decided to do, clearly. And this leather is ridiculous. I'll give you some more information when we do the cut in half of how much more this leather is compared to most white leather. It's a lot. Because why not? Like if we're gonna do it, we're only gonna do 300 pairs. Might as well. You know, like why not try to make it as good as humanly possible? Because they're gonna be around 350 bucks. You know, and that's still a lot for a white, like a sneaker. But it still was lower than I thought. I thought we were gonna be up in like the 400, 450, more closer to like the Goro collaborations. But that's the beauty of working with like a brand like KOIO. They're that direct to consumer. They're well established. They've already done this. They got their tanneries all set up. They got their manufacturers set up, and so you can get more affordable stuff because of the scale they're already doing. I'm so excited to be at least. So there's the 10s. Those are the ones I'll probably try on. I think the rest of these are just the same, just in different sizes. There's another size 10. And honestly, like one of my favorite things about this collaboration is having people out there experimenting and testing these. Because we've never really done a project like this. Like I'm not saying it's a gamble to buy these and see what happens, because all we did is take a sneaker construction and make it as high quality as humanly possible with even more durable materials. Because that's the one thing that I'm really, really excited about with this is nobody's ever done this before. And we've had a few pairs, but nobody's worn these for an extended period of time. So when you buy one of these, you're in the testing group of a completely unique sneaker construction that we've never seen before. And I don't think anyone's ever done it. And that's the fun, is like you guys get to kind of come along for the journey and like try these, give us some feedback. What worked, what doesn't work, what do you feel? How does it feel compared to the board glasses? Is there actually a difference? And yeah, it's gonna be so fun because you can see even just, it's got some more flex to it. Okay, there's a size 9. So now, let's try them on, and we'll go through all the fine details in the cut in half video with all like the specs, all the ridiculous price of this white leather, and all the internal components that we haven't talked about yet, because I think you guys are gonna be really happy with how the whole shoe is built, especially on the inside. So I've got a size 9, men's 9, and a size 10. I am a 10 on the Brannock. What am I wearing? Oh, just the mountain clogs in my Wranglers and Milo socks. These are sick. We haven't done a dedicated cut in half of these, but we cut them apart for a series, and we did an unboxing of these. These are like Birkenstocks on steroids. If you like Birkenstocks and you want your heel to be strapped in and you want to be able to take it off-roading, these are killer. Like the whole shop got a pair, because we basically were like, hey Bedrock, what do we need to do to like hook us up with a pair of like Bedrocks for the crew? And they're like, oh, just look it up. I was like, okay, sick. You know, because that's kind of the fun part of like these, like both channels is for the good brands that are making good stuff, you can actually make a real difference in their brand. And same with the companies that are not doing good stuff. You can make a difference in their brand as well. And so it's fun to have like brands that are making really cool, unique stuff, support them and them support us. It's just cool. Anyway, enough about these. Let's try a 9 on the left foot and a 10 on the right, and we'll see. And we'll have a sizing guide coming out. I just need to wear these for a little bit first because the initial impressions are never like final concrete. Like, this is my official opinion. White sneakers with black socks and black pants. Some of the style guys are going to be upset. That's okay. You got to run what you brung sometimes. These are cool. I mean, okay, here's the first like step bend test to see if I can notice any more flexibility compared to board lasted sneakers. Flex. They do feel more flexible compared to a board lasted sneaker, but it feels also more rigid than like a sneaker. So right now, my initial impressions of the sizing, I'm a 10 on the Brannock. I've got a 9 on the left foot, a 10 on the right foot, and I could wear the 9s, but it's gonna be a tighter fit, it's gonna squish your toes a little bit. The 10s, or true to my Brannock size, this is more what I would wear. You know, you got a lot more room at the end, my toe goes to there, but you got a lot more volume to not squish your toes. So if you like that tight little European fit and you don't mind having your toes squished or your toes more towards the end of the shoe, my toes goes like in this area, you know, compared to this area. So if you want a tighter fit or a more snug fit, go one size down from your Brannock. If you want a more roomy fit and a more normal, where you got a little wiggle room, just go true to your Brannock. But that's just the preliminary sizing. I'll send you a sizing guide in the limited edition email list in the lead up to this, the week of the launch, which I think is like next week. We're gonna send you the sizing guide, the specs, how to wear, you know, some exclusive content. Maybe I'll take these on a hike just to like test them to see how they perform in like different settings. And most importantly, you get early access to these because there's only 300 available, and the limited edition email list that's in the links below, that's who gets early access. So if you're not on that list, there's a chance you'll miss out on these. I don't think they'll all sell out before the public launch at 2 p.m. Mountain Time on December 5th. But if you want to guarantee it, just get on the limited edition email list. You get all that sizing, get all that stuff, and you're guaranteed as much of a spot as humanly possible. And also, the sooner you order, the higher you are on the list to get shipped. And so you get your shoes faster if you order sooner too. So that's it. What a cool collaboration. This has been in the works for a little bit. And it's cool that it's finally kind of coming to fruition after like playing with so many ideas and like this concept of like, where's your perfect white sneaker? Like, we did the white sneaker series. Like, I want to make a white sneaker. 4 years later, basically, or yeah, probably 3 or 4 years anyway, we finally found a way to make our perfect white sneaker. You know, it's like, it's not the perfect board lasted, really high end English made stuff with and we you know, I'm not dogging those brands like Goral. We collaborate with them. Crown Northampton makes some of the sickest shoes I own in these Everden whole cut Cordovans, but they're board lasted. And so I'm just excited about that concept. The first true full leather sneaker with the Strobel stitch that has all leather internal components, leather lasting or leather Strobel board. It's gonna be cool. So thank you guys for watching and supporting these collaborations. It's a huge part of how we're able to cut so much brand new stuff every single week, and how we're able to produce so many videos on Rose Anvil 2, get all the collaborations going, make some really cool products that nobody's ever made in the market. And it's what's gonna really allow us to make these next big steps in the business that we're going to announce when we get to that 1 million subscriber video. It happened yesterday, and I was out on lunch, and like we did a live stream, and it happened so much faster than we thought it was gonna happen. And so we're gonna announce some like 4 pretty cool big things that we're gonna be able to do next year. Hugely thanks to, or like in huge part to, what am I trying to say? Hugely big part. It's the big things we're trying to do next year. A big part of how we're able to do that and afford it is these collaborations. So I appreciate you guys watching these and supporting them and giving us your opinions and like helping push to find these new little angles in the industry that no one's done before. because it's good for the business, but more importantly, I love it. It's my most favorite thing to do out of anything in life. I love making things. I love designing products. I like finding new ways to solve an old problem, and this is right along with it. So I'm very grateful. So thank you guys. See ya. Oh, and also thanks to KOIO. I didn't even tell KOIO thanks. Huge shout out to KOIO for putting up with these crazy ideas and like willing to spend all that time prototyping and messing with the factories, and the factories like, what? Nobody does that. Why do you want to do that? It's like, that's why I want to do it. And KOIO's been really cool and patient and like really enthusiastic to make something like this that is truly unique. So huge shout out to KOIO. And now I'll end it. So thank you guys. See ya.